It sounds a little more fancy than numbers, John.
That is fancy, but I like it.
Fort Hays State in their road white uniforms, black pants, black helmets, white uniforms, black numerals, trimmed in yellow for the Tigers. Ball on the tee. Nicky Quevedo set to kick it away for the Broncos. Trevor Watts along with Keon Turner deep to receive for Fort Hays State. Quevedo's kick into the end zone and out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. John, this Bronco defense has been pretty good over the first 3 weeks, especially, even considering they gave it 40 points in week 2 to Central Mo. They've been a pretty solid team. Coach Adam Dorrell talked about how much better tackling has been this year for the Bronco D.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with the UCO defense this year. Those points against Central Missouri aside, we've seen a lot of instances where they've gotten good pressure on the quarterback up front, where they've been able to stop the running game, and the secondary's played well too. So going to take that effort tonight to beat the Tigers.
Shane Watts to the right of Dawson on first down. Gets a handoff right side, not a whole lot there. He burrows from the 25 out to about the 27-yard line. 2-yard gain will set up a 2nd and 8.
Yeah, that was Dylan Buckheit coming in, first tackle of the game for the Broncos out of his secondary spot.
2nd down, 8 from the 27-yard line, just underway here in Edmond between Fort Hays State and UCO. Dawson sends a man in motion. Hands off again to Shane Watts, running right, and again, not a lot there. Runs into a pile after another 2 yards from the 27 up to the 29. Now a passing situation for the Tigers here. 3rd and 6 coming up.
Yeah, good job by the left side of that defensive line to just kind of clog up the hole that Fort Hays State was trying to make over there, and it puts Fort Hays State in a 3rd down situation. The Broncos have to like this. Got to blow up right here and get the Tigers off the field.
They gave him the 30, so technically it's a 3rd down and 5 from the 30, needing to get to the 35. Empty backfield for Dawson. 3 receivers left, 2 right. Looking to throw, pressured over the middle. Pass caught, 1st down. Hit the hot route. That's Trevor Watts on a little slant route for 6 yards. Got just enough for the 1st down.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Todd. The Broncos gambled a little bit there and ran a blitz off the right side of the defense, and that opened up the hot route. Quarterback saw it, and Fort Hays State executes, gets to the 1st down marker.
Dawson making his 25th start at quarterback tonight for Fort Hays State. More starts than anyone else on the offensive side of the ball. Working out of the gun on 1st down. This time it's a play action, looking to go up top deep. Has a man with the step. It's underthrown, tipped, and incomplete. Fort Hays State looking for possibly a flag there, but no flag on the play as Jabari Lewis was the man on the post route. It looked like he had a step, but couldn't get the connection.
Yeah, good coverage by the Broncos there, and didn't think there was any pass interference on that play, so brings up 2nd down for Fort Hays State.
Looked like the pass might have got held up in the wind just a little bit. 2nd down and 10 from the 36 here for the Tigers. It's a jet pass to Trevor Watts looking to get outside left. He gets past the first tackler, turns it up at the 35, and gets about 2 yards up to the 38. It's going to be a 3rd down and 8 coming up now. It's Marcus Soul out there on the edge making the play from his defensive line spot.
That was a good effort by the big fella there, running out there in space. 6'3", 220-pound defensive lineman. Not one of the bigger defensive linemen, so definitely able to move like that a little bit. Showed it right there.
3rd down for Dawson and 8 from his own 38. Needs to get it up to the 46. Dawson drops, throws right side. Pass caught short of the 1st down. Got it at the 45. It was caught by Watts. Kobe Stevens tackled him immediately. It's a yard short. It's going to be 4th down and 1.
Watts for Fort Hays State comes in at 5'7", 170. He looks like a little guy out there, but makes some big plays for the Tigers. Just didn't quite get to the end of the sticks on that one.
That's Trevor Watts on the grab that time. As this one will be punted away. Parker Janke in punt formation. Janke kind of a slow developing rugby punt, and it's going to be caught and immediately to the turf at the 11-yard line by Kobe Stevens. And I thought well played there by Kobe Stevens, because had he let that go, they might have downed it inside the 10.
Well, it kind of bounced right into his belly, but I was a little surprised he didn't try to run with it just a little bit, right? Just make a move to the right or the left. He had 4 Tigers bearing down on him right down the middle of the field. So probably a smart play with no blocking. Set up the UCO offense to try to put a drive together.
UCO offense led by Jett Huff, the 5'8", 190-pound sophomore quarterback. Jalen Cottrell is the running back. The wide receivers, Jacob Delso, Madison Ridgway, Terrill Davis, and Ashton Schumann. As on first down, Cottrell moves from left to right. Huff on a quick pitch going to the right. Cottrell turns up 10, 15, out across the 20. First down to the 22-yard line. The offensive line for the Broncos, Noah Dobson, Turner Hilburn, Gabe Grazier, Montrell Lee, and Matt Garner from left to right. UCO going with tempo, as they like to do offensively, from the right hash. Huff hands off to Cottrell again, turns up at the 20 to the 25, and gets a nice gain after being looked like sewn up in the backfield that time. He runs for 6.
Yeah, the Broncos like to go quick. If you're not familiar with, if you're a Fort Hays State fan, haven't watched the Broncos much this year, a lot of tempo in this offense.
Second down and 4 as Huff throws it out right side to Delso. Gets a block, has the first down. Out across the 32 to the 33. That's that quick pass action that the Broncos like. Got a good block on the edge from Dominique Dunn. It'll be 1st and 10, UCO at the 34. Cottrell to the left of Huff this time. Straight drop throw and left flat. Complete to Davis. His first catch is a first down. Out across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Another 13-yard pass play and a first down.
Terrill Davis for a Broncos first down.
As soon as we get time to take a breath, we'll meet the Fort Hays State defense. But it's 1st and 10 Broncos at the 47. Huff to Schumann left side. Gets it across midfield to the Fort Hays State 49. 4-yard gain. Defensive line, Parrish Terry, Jonah Smith, Jacoby Wilson, and Miles Mingus for Fort Hays State. The linebackers, Sam Brandt, John Johnson, Mikel Williams, and the rover is Benyon Williams. Mason Perez, the free safety, is now a screenplay for the Broncos. Pass to Mason and through his hands. It was set up too on the left side for UCO. The cornerbacks, Kobe Rome and Travion Mitchell for Fort Hays State. And it's going to be a 3rd down and 6 for UCO. From the Tigers' 49-yard line, Broncos need to get it to the 43. Huff with Mason to his right. Looking down the field, man open, it's Davis, caught at the 20, and he's going to waltz in for a Bronco touchdown. Davis over the top of the defense, catches the touchdown, 49 yards on the pass and catch, and the Broncos strike first.
I think Davis is going to have a lot of yards receiving this season, Todd. I mean, he's been outstanding for the Broncos so far this year, and I believe he had a catch earlier on that drive down the Fort Hays State sideline, and another one here for the long touchdown. And UCO scores first here in a game that they probably needed to score first in.
Quevedo on for the extra point to make it a 7-point game. Snap is back. The hold from Huff is good. The kick is on the way, and it's good as well. 10 minutes even to go. First quarter, Broncos strike first. An 89-yard touchdown drive, and UCO leads 7-0. You're listening to UCO Bronco football.
Good job by the defense going in and forcing Fort Hays State to a 3-and-out. And then the offense just does what this offense has been doing, puts a drive together and puts it in the end zone, and the Broncos are off to a hot start.
Turner and Watts deep to receive. That's Trevor Watts. And it'll go over both of their heads and through the end zone for a touchback. And Fort Hays State will have it at the 25. Broncos looking to go 4-0 for the first time since 2004. Kind of hard to believe it's been that long, John.
Yeah, I mean, the last 12, 13 years in this conference, it's really hard to go to start out 4-0. I mean, you've got so many great teams in the MIAA, and there were some years there where UCO football had some tough times in the Lone Star Conference as well. So exciting things going on with the football program here on the campus of UCO, and they're hoping to add to that tonight.
From the right hash, Dawson looking to throw. Left side pass, tipped and complete. blanket coverage from Willie Rice, who was all over the receiver that time. They were both kind of hand fighting. Intended out on the left side for Jabari Lewis. And it'll be 2nd and 10.
We have had a bunch of emails rolling in. We'll say hi to Ryan and George checking in from Lincoln, Nebraska. Ryan's little brother Grant Lohr plays for the Broncos, and they also want to give a shout out to Connor Johnson.
2nd down and 10 from the 25. Handoff to Shane Watts, going right. Not a lot there. He does drive the pile forward for a 5-yard gain, though. He was hit initially that time for UCO by Lamuel Gordon. It'll be a 5-yard gain and 3rd and 5 coming up.
A good job by this UCO defense on the first 2 plays, the incomplete pass, and then not giving up too much on the run on 2nd down to bring up this 3rd and 5 situation for the Tigers.
From the 30-yard line. Dawson, straight drop, rolling right, now going to throw it on the run. Pass is short hopped. Incomplete.
Man, I really thought Dawson could have run for that 1st down around the right side. He chose to try and make the tough throw to the receiver and put it into the turf. But, Dawson's got a lot of experience. I thought he could have got to those sticks.
Tried to fit it into Jaden Horace that time, who couldn't make the grab. And Parker Janke will come on to punt it for the 2nd time. Line of scrimmage is the 30. Janke standing at his own 15. Kobe Stevens set to receive it, standing at the 31 in Bronco territory. Punts away. Broncos nearly blocked it, and there is a flag. It's going to be the 5-yard variety, but that's enough for a 1st down, as it's going to roll all the way down inside the 21 to the 20-yard line. But this is going to be a 1st down for Fort Hays State on the running into the kicker.
Yeah, and that can be obviously it's a discipline thing on the guy that's coming into pressure, but also a coaching thing, right? Maybe you don't send them when it's 5 yards or less for the 1st down, because that's where mistakes can happen. The Broncos didn't need to block that punt. They were going to get their offense back out on the field, and now they're going to hand Fort Hays State a 1st down.
Defense, 5-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
So that will keep the Fort Hays offense on the field. It'll move the ball up to the 35 and be just enough for a Tigers 1st down. I don't think they gave the number there, but it was C.J. Williams on the penalty for UCO. Williams, a guy who is on the kick return team as well for the Broncos, kind of a specialist for them. So I'm sure if there's someone who could block a punt for him, he might be the one. Just a little late that time, hit the kicker's leg, and it's a 1st down for Fort Hays State from the 35. Dawson hands off. Shane Watts up the middle.
Face mask.
Face mask as he tries to bounce it outside left. That was Zach Stillwell, who didn't know what he was really grabbing a hold of there. Just stuck his arm out trying to corral Watts and got him across the face mask for a penalty. And this is going to move it across midfield.
Yeah, that was a pretty violent one too. If they still had the 5-yard variety of face mask, this would definitely be a 15.
Face mask, number 99, defense, 15-yard penalty.
So the run went for 4 yards. I thought the run went for 4 yards. It looks like it went for 2 yards to the 37, and then they march it off to the Bronco 48-yard line. So it's a 1st down for Fort Hays State at the UCO 48. Middle of the field, ball sitting in the middle of the C of the UCO logo. Dawson, play action, right side, going deep. That pass is caught. An acrobatic grab on the sideline that time by Jaden Horace. As the defender overran it, he jumped in the air and caught it at the 16 and went straight out of bounds.
It really, just by the flight of the ball, it looked like that was going to be caught out of bounds, but Horace does a nice job going up and getting it, coming down inbounds, clearly a catch, and Fort Hays State is in business due to a nice pass play there, but on the heels of 2 big penalties for the Broncos.
1st and 10, Fort Hays State at the UCO 16. Dawson with Shane Watts to his right side out of the gun on 1st down. Sends Cormania's tight end from left to right. Hands it to Watts, running right. Not a whole lot there as Connor Johnson and Jack Puckett meet him at the hole. He gets a yard from the 16 down to the 15.
Good job by those fellas up front, those linebackers getting in there, filling the gap, making the hit at the line of scrimmage, and really preventing Fort Hays State from making too much out of that play.
Second down and 9 upcoming at the 15-yard line. 7:50 to go first quarter. UCO up 7-0 on Fort Hays State. 4 receivers from the right hash, 2 each side. As now Trevor Watts goes in motion right to left. Dawson looking that way, pumps, throws, end zone, intercepted. No, he couldn't hold on. Are they going to give it? It is an interception. It looked like maybe he bobbled it, but they're going to give the interception. And the Broncos, with Kobe Stevens going over to make the play, will take over the 20-yard line.
And this is where you may not want to show the replay in the stadium, because the Fort Hays State coach sees that, he's going to, he needs to throw the challenge flag on that one. It looks like that's going to happen. The red flag is already on the field down there. I think, depending on the camera angles that the replay has, this one's going to get overturned.
I agree. From the naked eye, it looked like he was bobbling it going out of bounds. I think this one will get overturned. Either way, it was a good break on the football by Kobe Stevens and really good coverage.
So if you're a fan of MIAA football, you know that the MIAA is the only conference in Division II that has instant replay. The instant replay is done a little differently in Division II in the MIAA, where the coaches actually have challenge flags like the NFL. And they get one challenge flag, and if they win the challenge, they get to keep it, and they get to do it again. We saw Central Missouri had 2 touchdowns against the Broncos that were not originally called touchdowns. Central Missouri challenged both of them, and they became touchdowns. So the officials will go to a tent that is on the other side of the field from where they are.
Again,
currently.
It's always when we're on this
They
end.
always got to run to that tent. And they will look at an iPad or a tablet that has dedicated cameras in the stadium. So it's not the cameras that you see on the stream. It's not the cameras that are used on the Jumbotron here in the stadium. It's a dedicated replay camera system. So we don't see that. We don't get to see what they're seeing, the angles that they're seeing. And so
and my understanding is the camera angles are kind of set up where they're all the same at every school.
Yeah.
They want the same 3 angles at every school because
there's a diagram.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a diagram of where the cameras go. That's correct. But to that point, we don't get to see them. So it's always kind of a crapshoot as to what the officials are going to see and what gets caught on camera. I would say, based on the replay that was shown here in the stadium and what Todd called in real time, that ball was bobbled and it was not caught in the end zone by UCO. So I think this is going to get overturned, but again, it depends on what the eye in the sky sees.
So before that play, it was a 2nd and 9 at the Bronco 15-yard line. So if this does get overturned to an incompletion, it's going to be 3rd and 9, Fort Hays State at the UCO 15-yard line. 7:32 to go first quarter, 7-0 the score. UCO leading Fort Hays State. By the way, I mentioned how beautiful the weather is here tonight. The wind has died down a lot since we started this thing. It's 81 degrees, which you'll take this time of year. North 8-mile-per-hour wind. It's actually a little warmer than it's been this week and should cool down as the sun continues to go down tonight.
Just a gorgeous night, but I think still warmer than opening night was against Langston. Were we in the 70s?
I think we were, yeah.
Yeah, what a crazy weather day that was for early September. But
we had a crazy weather day last week with those 35-mile-an-hour winds in Kearney, Nebraska.
Yeah, well, there's not much to stop the wind up there.
No.
Ooh. Yeah, so the Broncos benefit there probably from camera angles that didn't capture what happened, because, listen, we are the UCO broadcast crew. We're rooting for the Broncos. We will take the interception, but I do not believe that would have stood if there were 7 or 8 or 9 camera angles.
It's also interesting to note that the verbiage was the ruling stands, not the ruling is confirmed, which meant that they didn't see enough to overturn it, which is how you're supposed to handle that one. If you don't see enough to overturn it, that's what you do. You say the ruling stands. So
I want to say hey to Tony Holcomb, who emailed us as they're watching their son, Ryan Holcomb, who is the UCO Stampede of Sound band director. They're checking in from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tony, we're glad you're watching, enjoying the game tonight and the band. We're glad you emailed us, ucoradio@gmail.com.
On first down, Huff hands it off to Jalen Cottrell. Slow developing run play to the right, and he only gets a couple yards as he's chopped down after a short gain at the 23-yard line. That was Sam Brandt that came in to make the play for Fort Hays State. Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. From the right hash, Huff taking the snap, looking left, pumped, pressured, gets hit, face mask grabbed, and then he runs for a couple yards to the 22, or I guess technically it's a loss of 1, but he got a couple after his face mask was grabbed, and this is going to be fortunate for the Broncos.
Face mask, number 99, defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
That was Dimitri Scott, who did the same thing that UCO's number 99, Zach Stillwell, did. He didn't really mean to grab the face mask, just stuck his arm out, and that's what he caught.
Yeah, the Broncos benefit there, but just like Stillwell's, that was definitely a face mask penalty. So the officials on top of those calls tonight, and the Broncos get out of trouble there.
First down moves it to the 38. Huff, play fake, over the middle, pass caught by Delso inside the 35, down to the Fort Hays State 31.
And Jett Huff has thrown some ridiculous balls this year. He really...
flag down? We do have a flag down back at the line of scrimmage.
And the Broncos are walking backwards. That was a beautifully thrown ball.
Number 76, offense. 5-yard penalty.
You know, the way they kind of held that fake, it made me think that might have been like an RPO situation, which would make sense as long as the fake was held. If the lineman is run blocking, that he would be too far downfield there.
Yeah, and that's one of those that, I always want to see the replay on the monitor. We didn't get to see it that time because you don't pay attention to that during the play like the officials do.
Huff, another man over the middle. It's done. The tight end this time, who has a first down. They'll mark him a yard short, actually.
They gave it to him.
Well, they gave it to him. They moved it the last second there at the 48. So it's a 15-yard pass play.
It's sort of they kind of spot the ball by committee, and they give into a little peer pressure sometimes, I think.
1st and 10 Broncos at the 48. Huff, straight drop. Nice pocket. Throws down the middle. Davis open again. Terrill Davis with his second touchdown catch of the game. The first one is 49 yards, and this one's 52. I'm good enough at math to know he's over 100 yards receiving now, and the Broncos lead 13-0.
We're going to check that math during the break, Todd, but I think you're right. And listen, I know that Fort Hays State saw Terrill Davis on film as they were studying, their defensive schemes for this game. He has scored 2 touchdowns, and he has obliterated the coverage both times. So I don't know if it's a bust in coverage or if he's just out-athleting whoever's guarding him, but Terrill Davis has had an outstanding night so far, and we're only in the first quarter.
Quevedo on for the extra point. The kick is away, and the kick is good. 6:17 to go first quarter. The Broncos jump a quarter. UCO led by Terrill Davis. 3 catches, 114 yards, and 2 touchdowns in this first quarter. Jett Huff is 6 out of 7 for 139 and 2 touchdowns. As the Broncos on that last drive go 5 plays, 80 yards to score the touchdown. 52 yards on the touchdown throw from Huff to Davis. And Nicky Quevedo, for the 3rd time tonight, will kick it away for UCO.
You like it when Quevedo's getting a lot of action kicking the ball off.
So far, he's 2 for 2 on touchbacks. This one a little higher and shorter, but a fair catch is going to be called for and made at the 6. So the Broncos will again have Fort Hays State starting at the 25-yard line for their 3rd possession for the Tigers here. And what a turn of events. The Broncos, it looked like, were going to give up a score after keeping the Fort Hays State drive alive with the running into the kicker, and then intercept a pass in the end zone and go 80 yards. And another big strike from Huff to Davis to double the lead. Dawson on first down out of the gun with Shane Watts to his left. Hands it to Watts, running right. And again, he runs into a wall right at the line of scrimmage. He fights forward for a couple, and that's it. 2 yards on the play.
Yeah, that was Zane Adams in there on the tackle for the Broncos right at the line of scrimmage, fell forward. So Fort Hays State picks up a couple yards, but we'll take that all day long.
Zane Adams, a Haskell Haymaker. That's where he played his high school ball. 2nd down and 8. Dawson floats one in the flat. Shane Watts is open. He's got it to the 30, lowers his head, and runs into Jack Puckett. Big collision as he's knocked out of bounds a yard short at the 34.
Good effort by Puckett getting over there and stopping him short of the first down. You never know what can happen on third down here. So that's a big play for the Broncos potentially to get Fort Hays State off the field.
3rd down and 1 from the 34 for Fort Hays State. 5.5 minutes to go first quarter. 14-0 Broncos with the lead. Dawson, pistol formation. Hands it off right up the middle. And he's going to be close. It depends on the spot. I think they're going to give it to him.
Yeah, they're
on the second effort.
Got hit behind the or where he wouldn't have gotten it, but kind of fell forward in the scrum.
That was Joshua Clark.
They've got an offensive lineman down. Well, just slow to get back to the huddle now. He's up and back in there. That is David Schoberg.
Well, they needed one, and they got one on the Joshua Clark run from the 34 to the 35. So it does move the chains. 1st and 10, Fort Hays State from their own 35. Right hash, Dawson with Clark to his left. Straight drop. Looking, pressured, steps up, going to run with it and slide down at about the 38. 3 yards on the little scramble. It'll be 2nd and 7.
I was getting ready to say, is that official going to spot that ball at the 40? But that's where the slide ended, but he did walk it back to the appropriate spot, so won't have to talk to the commissioner at halftime about that.
We will talk to the commissioner at halftime, though.
Yep, Mike Racy going to join us. Going to be a good conversation about things that are going on in the MLAA, and always an honor to have him in town for a game, and even more so in the booth.
2nd down and 7 for Fort Hays State from their own 38. Dawson hands it to Clark, running right, turns back, and is hit by Dylan Buckheit right at the line of scrimmage. He'll get a yard. Jack Puckett had the penetration in the backfield, and Dylan Buckheit came in and cleaned it up after Puckett redirected it.
Broncos have just been suffocating this Tigers run game so far tonight. Front 7 doing an excellent job, and of course the support from the secondary with Buckheit and company coming up and cleaning up plays like that.
3rd down and 6 from the 39-yard line. Tigers need to get it to the 45 here. Broncos show blitz. They bring 5. Dawson rolling right, throwing. Short hops it. Tried to get it to Trevor Watson. It's incomplete, and it'll be 4th down.
While the Fort Hays State brings on the punt team, we'll say hi to Stacy McDonald, watching from Granbury, Texas. Stacy says that they're watching their nephew, Braden Waters, and they say go Chose. So, Stacy, we're glad you emailed us here in the booth. We got a lot more to get to, and we will as time allows. UCOradio@gmail.com.
So, Janke will punt it away for the 3rd time. Line of scrimmage is the 39. It's Kobe Stevens deep to receive. It's a line drive punt. Takes a bounce. Stevens lets it go. And it's going to go all the way down inside the 10 to the 8. Really good punt by Parker Janke that time. Got a nice roll. That's a 53-yard punt. 54 yards. They'll mark it at the 7 with no return.
Yeah, that one would have been tough for Stevens to get in front of and try to make a play on. He would have been hit immediately as he fielded that ball, and trouble can ensue at that point. So he had to make the decision to let that one go, and unfortunately for the Broncos, it bounced the wrong direction. But this UCO offense has shown some pretty good signs of life tonight. They've driven the ball down the field twice, and they're looking to have the longest drive of the night tonight on this possession.
1st and 10 Broncos from their own 7. Huff pitches it to Mason left side. Mason lowers his head at the 9 and gets out to the 10 before he's driven back by 2 Tiger tacklers. He's going to gain about 3. Mason had a big game with Cottrell a little banged up in the second half at Kearney last week. Scored a couple touchdowns in that one. He gets 3 on 1st down, 2nd down and 7. Trip receivers right from the left hash. Huff throws it that side to Davis. Davis with another grab. Run after catch this time as he turns up across the 20 to the 21. So a little pass on the edge, and Davis is going to gain 11 yards on that one. He's got 125 receiving now. We're not even through the first quarter yet. 1st down Broncos at the 21. Huff looking left, throwing left, pass caught again. And this time it's Jaden Gray on the grab. Short gain from the 21 to the 25. Like Fort Hays State kind of jumped that one that time.
Yeah, but the Broncos kind of mixing it up, showing different pass plays, keeping Fort Hays State honest.
2nd and 6, handoff to Mason, running right. Mason turns back up, gets what he can, which is about 3 yards to the 28 before he is tackled by Parrish Terry. It'll be a 3rd down and 3 for the Broncos from their own 28. UCO 2 drives so far, 2 touchdowns, looking to convert on a 3rd and 3. Empty backfield. 3 receivers right, 2 to the left for Huff. Huff throwing right side, complete to Dunn. 1st down. The tight end Dominique Dunn with his 2nd grab of the game from the 28 to the 36. It's an 8-yard gain.
Nice hands by the big guy, getting out there, getting past the sticks, making the catch, getting the 1st down. This Bronco receiving core has been really fun to watch this season so far.
1st and 10, Huff hands it again to Mason. Mason turning up at the 40, has a nice hold to the 45, out across midfield and into Fort Hays State territory at the 48-yard line. That's a run of 16 and a 1st down.
We'll quickly say hi to Mike in Loveland, Colorado. He's a Fort Hays State fan. He emailed us here in the booth, ucoradio@gmail.com. Mike, we're glad you reached out to us. We want to hear from everybody.
He was in Loveland this past week. Beautiful country up there. 1st down and 10 at the Fort Hays State 48. Fake handoff to Cottrell. There's a pass to the tight end underneath across the 40, inside the 35 to the 33-yard line to Braden Turner. Turner with a rare catch. They'll mark him down at the 34. That's a gain of 14. I ran into Braden Turner's parents at Culver's in Kearney, Nebraska after the game last week.
Oh, you can't talk about Culver's unless we're on the road and there's one in between us and home, Todd. Come on.
1st down and 10 at the 34. Huff pressured, rolling right, now looking left. Still has time, floats one upfield. Cottrell open, catches at the 10 and walks in for the touchdown. It was a fire drill as Jalen Cottrell floated right, then left. Cottrell leaked out of the backfield, and Jett Huff has his 3rd touchdown pass of the 1st quarter, and the Broncos lead 20-0 with 7 ticks left in the quarter.
And that drive started where? 6-yard line?
7-yard
line. So 93-yard touchdown drive for the Broncos. I mean, if Fort Hays State doesn't look like they can do anything to stop this UCO offense so far tonight, and the UCO defense has played equally as well. So far, just clicking on all cylinders here in Edmond are the Broncos.
Quevedo on for the extra point. Jett Huff will hold it. Quevedo will boot it right down the middle. And with 7 seconds to go 1st quarter, it's UCO 21, Fort Hays State 0. This is UCO Bronco football.
Lewis and Watts back deep for the Tigers.
Back into Chad Richardson Stadium. Fair catch on the kickoff taken by Trevor Watts. And the Broncos will again face a Fort Hays State offense that will start at the 25-yard line. Broncos drive 8 plays, 93 yards. The touchdown pass, Jett Huff to Jalen Cottrell for 34 yards. 3:06 off the clock. 7 seconds to go 1st quarter, and UCO with 252 yards of offense in this 1st quarter leads 21-0. Dawson in the gun for Fort Hays State. Looking right, throwing right, pass caught. Kobe Stevens there as it's complete to the tight end. That's Cormaney who made the grab. He carries Stevens out across the 30 to the 32. 7-yard gain, and that's the last play of the 1st quarter. 1 quarter in the books. It's been all Broncos so far. UCO 21, Fort Hays State 0.
Fort Hays State still has to stop UCO's offense, even if, whether that was a turnover, whether it wasn't. Defense still has got to go out and stop them. And so far tonight, the Tigers have not stopped UCO's offense. Broncos carving them up with the passing game and some big running plays as well.
Total yards of offense, 252 for UCO in the 1st quarter, 81 for Fort Hays State. Dawson will hand it to Watts on a jet sweep going from right to left. He's going to have the first down across the 35 to the 36-yard line. That was a 3rd and 3 play. He ran for, or 2nd and 3 play. He ran for 4, and it's a 1st and 10.
Stephanie and Sam Moses emailed us here. They're hanging out with Brittany Walker, who's also a UCO alum. Sam was a former UCO football player. Stephanie, a former soccer player. They're listening in from Tulsa.
Shane Watts in the backfield next to quarterback as there's a long throw down the field. Pass is caught and staying in bounds and running for a touchdown. That's Jabari Lewis. And by the way, that's a new quarterback in the game. That's Caleb Heavner. And Heavner with the long touchdown pass to Jabari Lewis. And Fort Hays State is on the board. Bronco defender, I think that was Rice that time, just fell down.
Just one-on-one coverage over there. And the receiver goes and makes a nice, it's a beautifully thrown ball. Receiver goes and makes a nice catch. And the defender falls down trying to make a tackle. I think the defender probably thought that he had forced the ball carrier out of bounds, but he hadn't. And Fort Hays State strikes quick here in the second quarter.
Janke on for the extra point. That was Heavner on that entire drive. I apologize for not picking that up, as Janke's extra point is on the way and good. So Fort Hays State not going away. 14:23 to go first half. The touchdown pass makes it 21-7, UCO with the lead. 14:23 to go in the first half. This is UCO Bronco foot bust for the Broncos defensively, and Fort Hays State gets on the board. And we'll see this UCO Bronco offense go back to work after putting up 252 yards in the first half. Don't forget, you can get in touch with us here in the booth, UCOradio@gmail.com. No matter what team you're cheering for tonight, we'd love to hear from you, UCOradio@gmail.com. This one will be booted away, and the Broncos will return it. Williams will fake the reverse and go to his right. Williams out across the 10 to the 15 and only gets to the 16-yard line. So the Broncos, who run reverse action on every kickoff return, or at least every one we've seen so far this year, that time it doesn't pay off, and they'll start at their own 16, although the starting position has not been an issue for the Broncos so far in this one, John.
It has not. The Broncos have just been performing with excellent, with just precision tonight so far. And this will be their first drive going from south to north, so we'll see if that changes things up for them. But UCO has had 3 offensive possessions and 21 points to show for it.
Huff from the right hash with Cottrell to his right. Huff stands and throws left side to Schumann, who caught it, and he caught it with his knee on the ground back at the 13-yard line. So Schumann, who got up and ran for a few yards that time, is going to lose a couple. We'll call it a 3-yard loss on the catch. Would be totally fine in the NFL, but in college, the knee's down, you're down. And it's 2nd down and 13. Huff, empty backfield as Cottrell goes in motion, throws it right side, and it's batted down. It'll be 3rd down and 13 now, and you can hear the Fort Hays State fans starting to get a little excited. If they can get a 3 and out here, can be right back in the game.
Well, and defensively, that's the kind of the first play that group of fans has had to cheer about tonight. So, they just scored a long touchdown and maybe feel themselves taking a little momentum in this game.
Broncos need to get it to the 26 as Huff from the 13 floats to his left, throws, and it's tipped and nearly intercepted. That was Michael Chavez who came up and nearly made a circus interception but couldn't quite hold on, and the Broncos will have to punt it away.
Not just this game, obviously, but the whole season, a very un-Bronco-like offensive possession there. A miscue on first down, catching the ball with your knee on the ground behind the line of scrimmage, and then 2 tipped passes thrown by Huff. So the Broncos got to get back over and regroup, and the defense is going to have to come out and put some work in.
Grayson Miller standing on his goal line will punt this one away. Trevor Watts deep to return it. It's a high knuckling kick, takes a nice UCO bounce up to the 48-yard line in Bronco territory. Not a great kick, though. It's 35 yards. We'll call it 34 yards. They'll mark it at the Bronco 47, and Fort Hays State will have it in plus territory at the UCO 47-yard line.
I want to say hi to Marna Drury, who emailed us here from West Virginia. Marna says that she watches the Broncos every week. Her nephews, Jack Puckett and Hank Puckett, play for the Broncos, former Bigsby Spartans, of course. And we call Jack's name quite a bit from his linebacker spot. Marna, we're glad you emailed us here tonight, ucoradio@gmail.com.
1st and 10 Tigers at the Bronco 47. Huebner hands it to Shane Watts. Big hole right up the middle inside the 35 all the way down to the Bronco 33. 14 yards on the run for Shane Watts. And Fort Hays State has found something since inserting the backup quarterback, Caleb Huebner.
Some say the waterfall has mystical powers, Todd. If you're going towards the waterfall, that seems to be where all the success has been thus far tonight in the south end zone.
1st and 10 at the Bronco 33. Huebner looking to the sideline. Horace and Trevor Watts, the receivers to the right. Lewis to the left, the tight end Cormaney that side as well. Running back is Shane Watts. Huebner takes the snap, hands to Watts, bouncing to his left, looking for a hole, finds a small seam and gets about a yard to the 32. Slow developing. And he's taken down after a 1-yard gain, as that was big Hunter Largent who got in there to make the play.
Well, that's the problem, Todd, with a small seam, is that when Hunter Largent shows up, that seam becomes completely null and void.
He is a seam eraser for sure up front. 2nd down and 9 from the Bronco 32. Huebner looking to throw, left side, floats one up in the air. It's underthrown, knocked away. That was Rice on the coverage that time as they again tried to isolate Lewis on him, and this time Rice got the better of it. It'll be 3rd and 9.
Yeah, it just looked like the similar play to the touchdown that Hayes had on the last drive, but good coverage there by Willie Rice. Step for step, he goes up, I think gets a hand on the football before it got to the receiver and pushes that ball out of bounds.
3rd and 9, Fort Hays State at the Bronco 32. Might be 4-down territory here for the Tigers. On the edge of field goal range as it stands right now. Huebner looking to throw, steps up, hit hard, but completes the pass across the middle for a 1st down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. That's Ryan Allen on the grab.
Huebner was wrapped up and throwing the ball as he was going to the turf and just put it right on point for the Hayes receiver. The big 1st down for the Tigers as Huebner was kind of dead to rights there. Makes a fantastic play.
Dylan Buckheit there to clean it up with the tackle. 1st and 10 Tigers at the 14-yard line. Huebner sends Trevor Watts in motion, hands it to him on the jet sweep. Watts turns it up, is hit, spins off a tackle at the 14 and works his way down to the 11 for a gain of about 3.
Say hey to Jeff Slayton real quick. Says they're listening on the way back to Florida, where Jeff lives, from the OU Auburn game they traveled to. Jeff was a deep snapper here in the late 90s and all around good dude. He said they dodged the hurricane, which we're glad to hear. Jeff, you and your family stay safe, and we're glad that you emailed us here in the booth, ucoradio@gmail.com.
2nd down and 7 from the Bronco 11. Huebner handing to Shane Watts. Trying to carve his way through the Bronco defense, still on his feet, backing his way all the way down to the 6. Got hit at about the 9 and just kept pumping his legs and got all the way down to the 6 where it'll be 3rd down and 2. That was Jeff, right, that emailed us?
Jeff Slayton.
Jeff, we hope he goes 2-0 today, because I'm imagining he was down at Auburn supporting OU today.
Yep, Jeff is a Oklahoma kid. Relocated out to Florida a few years ago, and a big Broncos supporter.
3rd down and 2 from the Broncos 6-yard line. Huebner with Shane Watts to his right, working from the left hash, sends the tight end Cormaney in motion from left to right. Hands it to Watts. Watts hit in the backfield and dropped. Dylan Buckheit slashes through and makes the play for a 1-yard loss back to the 7. And now Fort Hays State has to decide if they're going to go for it here on 4th down and about 3. Or about 4th and 3, or will they send out the field goal unit? No field goal unit yet.
Yeah, it looked like they were sending some guys on, but they looked like offensive replacement players. They didn't look like the kicking unit. Now they're going to take a timeout and talk it over here.
We'll take the timeout with them. 9:43 to go first half. 21-7 UCO leads. Go up 21-7. Huebner, the quarterback, with Watts to his right. Now two tight ends and the running back Watts shift to the left side. Now Cormaney goes in motion left to right. Huebner looking to throw, looks left, looks over the middle. Pressured, rolling to his right, might think about running for it. Looking to throw now again, backs up across his body, throws it over, thrown and incomplete. The Broncos get the stop as coverage was blanket coverage in the end zone. Kobe Stevens stayed with his man for about 10 seconds there, and the Broncos take over.
Anytime you see a quarterback run around for as long as Huebner did right there, you know what it looks like down the field. It looks like all the receivers are covered up. Great job by the UCO secondary there, preventing Huebner from having anybody to throw that football to. And he makes the desperate attempt there at the end just to not take the sack, but overthrows the football, and UCO will start on offense.
Broncos start from the 7-yard line. Second time in this first half they've started from the 7. The first one was a 93-yard touchdown drive. Cottrell to the left of Huff, moves to the right now. The Broncos move up front, and the Broncos are pointing like they were drawn offside.
Ball start, number 76, offense. Penalties after the goal, first down.
And that was Matt Garner, and Mack is pointing towards the defensive lineman. But remember, John, and you and I both know this as O-linemen, it doesn't matter if they flinch. They've got to cross the line before it is a false start induced by the defense, which then becomes an offside penalty.
Yeah, just a little bit of movement does not allow you to move as an offensive lineman.
First down now from the 4 as Cottrell running to his left, has a nice seam, but it closes up quickly at the 10-yard line. Good open field tackle that time by Jackson Calzo. And it'll be a gain of about 6. We'll set up a second down and 7. Cottrell to the right of Huff on second down. Gets another handoff. Cuts back at the 10. Makes a second man miss, but can't get past that third wave of tacklers at about the 13. As in on the tackle that time was Sloan Hayden along with Jaden Barker.
Officials timeout.
We've got an injured defensive player, so the Broncos will have a little time to think about it here as they'll have a third down and 3 from the 14-yard line. While we have a second here, let's look around the MIAA. It scores from earlier today. Non-conference game, but Missouri Southern defeated Northeastern State 27-20 with 17 fourth-quarter points. In fact, Missouri Southern 24 unanswered to win that game. Washburn defeats Mo West 24-16. Ichabod's get their first win of the year. Northwest Missouri State gives Emporia their first loss of the year, 14-9, and Central Mo improves to 3-1. Their second straight come from behind 1-point victory as they beat Nebraska Kearney 36-35. Third down and 3 from the 14. Huff in the gun, looking right, throwing right. Caught by Schumann, first down. Out to the 19-yard line. That was a timing throw. Schumann barely got eyes on that one and made a really good catch.
Really good job by Schumann bringing that thing in, getting to the sticks, getting the first down. You see with a little room to work now.
And Broncos move again.
It's the proverbial 2 steps forward.
There's a lot of talking going on, and I think there is a lineman that is probably yelling,
barking out
yes,
calls and stuff,
yes.
and the officials are talking about this, so we'll see if they agree or not. They're going to
start, number 79, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
I mean, there were multiple Broncos saying that, and while you can flinch, you aren't allowed to yell things out.
Yeah, well, and as a player, you have to alert the official. Hey, this is going on. You got to listen for this, and that may or may not be what's happening, right? But the Broncos with, I don't know that we've had 2 false starts on a drive this season.
So now it's 1st and 15 from the 14. Huff hands to Cottrell, running right. Cottrell weaving his way forward, gets back the 5 yards lost on the penalty, +1 up to the 20. 6-yard run will set up a second and 9.
Tommy Williams is cheering on the UCO football team from Kerrville, Texas, supporting Braden Waters. Tommy emailed us here in the booth, ucoradio@gmail.com.
Second and 9 from the 20. Huff looking to throw. Has time, lots of time. 3-man rush, now rolling left, throwing left, pass caught. That's Davis just short of the sticks at about the 27-yard line. It'll be a third down and 1. They'll mark him at the 28. Broncos looking to go quick here. Broncos quarterback sneak as Huff has it. And we've got a timeout or a flag. We got a flag down. Broncos might not have been set here.
We have seen that with this Bronco offense a time or two this year where they've tried to run really quick.
There is no foul on the play. In fact, there is no play. The ball was snapped while we're in the process of the matchup. It's third down.
And a matchup, does that mean a substitution?
Yeah, I saw Jalen Cottrell come off the field, so the officials then put their arms out and allowed the other team to sub. And because that sub had not happened yet, UCO wasn't allowed to snap the ball yet.
Well, and that's on the coaching staff if they pulled Cottrell out of the game, because if you want to go quick, you can't make a sub. Now, if Cottrell took himself out of the game, then, it's just unfortunate.
Mason's in on 3rd and 1. He'll get the handoff, lower his head. It's going to be close. They're going to give him the 29. That should be a first down. It looks like, from where this is being spotted, it's going to be a first down. We may have to measure this one.
The last measurement I saw in the MIAA
There's the first down.
was
a yard.
Not a good look. And if you're an old school football fan, you just don't see as much measurements anymore because the fields are so scientifically marked.
Yep.
It's not a grass field where, a guy came in with a fertilizer spreader and walked it off straight line. Yeah.
Hand off to Mason on first down, running right. Mason lost his feet, was only able to gain about a yard to the 30. So 1 yard run will set up a 2nd down and 9 for the Broncos. 6:45 to go here in the first half. UCO up 21-7 on Fort Hays State. Broncos had this ball at their own 7-yard line. They've overcome a couple of offensive penalties to keep the chains moving and get it out to the 31 so far. Huff to throw. Looking left, now floats one. Schumann has the grab, 45-50 across midfield inside the Fort Hays State 40, down to the 36, and we're going to have a roughing the passer as well. What a throw that was by Jett Huff. He dropped it in over the linebackers and under the deep coverage to Schumann for a big gain.
And all of that while he was under a barrage of pressure led by Miles Minges. Unfortunately, Miles hit the quarterback after he threw the football and was penalized with the roughing the passer penalty. So the Broncos make this huge play even more huge, and this ball will be just outside of the red zone for UCO.
33 yards on the pass and catch, and then 15 yards on that penalty. Moves it all the way down to the Fort Hays State 21-yard line for UCO, where it's 1st and 10. Huff with Mason in the game to his right. Play action, goes right side, end zone, leaping. Terrill Davis with another touchdown. 3rd touchdown pass for Jett Huff. 3rd touchdown catch. 4th touchdown pass for Jett Huff. 3rd touchdown catch, Terrill Davis. And it's 27-7 Broncos.
Does the commissioner help pick the MIAA Offensive Player of the Week? Does Terrill Davis know he's in the house tonight? Is that what's happening?
Well, if this keeps up, the commissioner might just tell everyone else not to send in a submission this week. And
what a fantastic night Davis has had, and a fantastic season he's had thus far.
Quevedo on for the extra point. The kick has plenty of leg, and it's right down the middle. 6:01 to go first half. 28-7. Broncos back up 3 touchdowns again. Welcome back in. The Broncos with a touchdown pass from Jett Huff to Terrill Davis for the 3rd time in this first half, extend their lead to 28-7. 21 yards on that touchdown pass. The drive, 9 plays, 93 yards. The Broncos' second 93-yard drive of this first half. Terrill Davis now has 6 catches for 153 and 3 touchdowns, and Jett Huff has thrown for 274 and 4 touchdowns, as Quevedo's kick is going to be taken by Trevor Watts at the 6. Watts up the middle of the field. Nice return. This could be a touchdown. Watts left side to the 50. One man to beat. He cuts back at the 35. He's going to get all the way down inside the Broncos' 30-yard line. Really good return that time by Trevor Watts of Fort Hays State, and the Tigers have good field position.
Well, I say always fair catch it, Todd, but I guess we'll give him a pass on that one, because that was a heck of a return by Fort Hays State, and really a saving tackle by Dalton Hurd, who came across the field and had the angle on the ball carrier and allowed some other Broncos to catch up to him as well. So, but great field position for Fort Hays State here, deep inside UCO territory to start this drive.
65-yard kickoff return for Trevor Watts. And it's a first down for Fort Hays State at the Bronco 28-yard line with 5:50 to go in this first half. Heavner still in at quarterback with Shane Watts to his right. Sends Allen in motion. Hands it to Watts. Watts looking to bounce outside left. Makes a nice cut past a tackler at the 26 and gets all the way down to the 23 for a nice 5-yard run on first down.
When they sent the guy in motion, I thought that they might be treating this like a first play after a turnover, long pass. They isolated Lewis up top, which we've already seen tonight. I was kind of surprised to see Fort Hays State run it there on first down, but 5-yard gain, I'm sure the Tigers will take.
2nd and 5, Bronco 23-yard line. Heavner claps his hand. Free play here. Broncos jumped as there's a throw deep right side. Pass is tipped and incomplete. It's going to be 5 yards on a offside penalty on UCO. And this will give Fort Hays State a first down. So we'll hear from our referee tonight, Dwight Niebling.
Good coverage there by J.K. Moore down the field. That can't go without.
Offside, number 44 defense. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
That can't go unsaid because it was a free play, and had Fort Hays State caught that football, it would have been a touchdown. So good coverage by the DB. Unfortunately, it still results in a first down for Fort Hays State, and now they are in the red zone at the 18-yard line.
Hayes has 200 yards of offense. They've moved the ball a little bit. Had that one turnover in the end zone. It's a 1st and 10 at the Bronco 18. Heavner looking to throw. Throws it over the middle. Pass tipped and incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Cormaney. And I believe that was Dylan Buckheit that got his hand on that one in zone coverage.
Emily Norris emails us, says, shout out to Turner Hilburn, number 56 for UCO, who had a birthday this week. They're watching from Royce City, Texas, and it's signed Sissy, Uncle Mike, Katie, David, and Rudy. So Sissy, Uncle Mike, Katie, David, and Rudy, we're glad you're listening. We're glad you're following the action here, and we're glad we're able to bring it to you here. You can email us in the booth like they did, ucoradio@gmail.com.
2nd down and 10 at the 18-yard line. Split backs this time as Heavner hands it off. Running right inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line. That's the first carry of the game for Keon Miller. He'll gain about 4, and it will set up a 3rd down and 6 for the Tigers at the Broncos' 14-yard line.
The Broncos have done a good job in these 3rd down situations tonight in the red zone against Fort Hays State. They had the goal line stand on the last possession where Fort Hays State was unable to get points. Be interesting to see what Hays chooses to do after this one if they don't convert the first down.
3rd and 6 from the 14. Need to get it to the 8 here in the Bronco red zone. Fort Hays State with it as Heavner has time to throw. Pressured, steps away now, rolls to his left, now to his right. Looking, floats one across his body, out of the end zone and incomplete. Again, great coverage downfield for UCO. And it'll be 4th down, and Fort Hays State will have to decide if they're going to go for it or send on the field goal unit. And it looks like Parker Janke is going to come on to try a 32-yard field goal.
Boy, we chased the quarterback into the UCO sideline and put him on the ground. But honestly, I thought Niebling was going to throw a holding flag on the initial pressure. He started to reach for it, and then he stopped. I think he thought that we were going to sack the quarterback, but then we didn't. But there was a pretty good hold with an offensive lineman hanging on to a defender chasing him from behind. Either way, the Broncos make the stop and force Fort Hays State to attempt the 3-pointer.
Sam Brandt will snap it. Parker Janke will kick it away. The kick has plenty of leg, and it's right down the middle.
Field goal is good.
Excuse me, that's not Janke. I'm sorry about that. That's Carson Arndt. He was only the MIAA Special Teams Player of the Week last week as he knocks that one through.
Kicking off for the Tigers will be number 40, Parker Janke. Back deep for UCO, Williams and Stevens.
Arndt will kick this one away for Fort Hays State. Williams will take it, fake the reverse, going to his right, out across the 10, stretched out to the 13-yard line. So not a good return there for the Broncos, as Fort Hays State has not been fooled by the reverse action on the kickoff return. UCO will start at the 13-yard line.
I mean, the key to defending the reverse as a kickoff team is stay in your lanes, right? And so if you don't bite on it and you stay in your lanes, you've got 11 guys covering the width of the field. And we've seen Fort Hays State do a good job of that on 2 occasions tonight. Where they get in trouble is when they all shift to one side of the field and open up the other side. But Fort Hays State very disciplined tonight. They've studied up on that film, and they practiced that all week, I'm sure.
1st and 10 Broncos from the 13. Cottrell to the left of Huff. Cottrell gets the handoff, running right. Nice room out across the 15 to about the 18-yard line. They'll give him the 19 before he's pushed back.
Here is Jalen Cottrell.
Got a lot of emails in tonight. We'll quickly say hi to Monique Sowell, who says, let's go Marcus Sowell. Of course, defensive lineman for the Broncos here, ucoradio@gmail.com.
2nd and 4, Huff left side. Pass complete to Jaden Gray, but not much there. In fact, he's only going to get back to the line of scrimmage. He might even lose a yard there. It's going to be 3rd and about 5. Broncos looking to go quick here as Terrill Davis will move out to middle wide receiver right. There's a pass over the middle, looking for Davis again. Davis can't make the grab. Did he make it? He did make the grab. Unbelievable catch by Terrill Davis at midfield. 31 yards from the 18 up to the 49, a circus catch over the defender. I think the kids call that getting mossed, right? Like Randy Moss used to do back in the day. It's a handoff to Cottrell on a cutback, going from right to left, nearly trips, stays on his feet, 45-40, out of bounds, inside the 40 to the Fort Hays State 37. That's a 14-yard run. You're just shaking your head in here, John.
That Terrill Davis has just he's been insane this year, and that was probably the best catch he's made where he has a list of a lot of really good catches. But that one was just insane and really put UCO in a great spot here offensively.
Great job picking up the blitz on that play as well. Here's a handoff to Mason on the draw. Big hole, 35-30, lowers his head, 1st down to the Fort Hays State 26, 11 yards for William Mason. Probably haven't talked enough, John, this year about how well the offensive line has played through the first 3 games as well. And this is our 2-minute timeout. 28-10, UCO leads at the 2-minute timeout. You're listening to UCO Bronco football.
This is also a media timeout.
You can listen through the iHeartRadio
app as well.
We're obviously on the MIAA stream.
Right, KOKC has their own app as well that you can listen to if you just search it in your app store. 1st and 10 Broncos at the 26. Huff, play action, sets up a screen. Cottrell drops it, and probably a good thing because that one was blown up and would have been a loss had he held on. Good job defensively to stay at home that time by Gavin Hazelhorse, and it'll be a 2nd and 10.
Tedra Brown emails us, says, shout out to Zion Bell. Tedra's watching from Houston, Texas. And Tedra, we are thrilled that you're with us tonight and that you emailed us here in the booth, ucoradio@gmail.com.
2nd and 10 Broncos. UCO still with all 3 timeouts, minute 56 to go. At the Hays 26, looking up top for Davis. Davis has a step, and he's got a touchdown, his 4th touchdown grab of the first half. Jett Huff to Terrill Davis. Jett Huff to Terrill Davis. Jett Huff to Terrill Davis. And now again, Jett Huff to Terrill Davis. And it's 34-10 Broncos.
I had in my notes MIAA Offensive Player of the Week. I've scratched out MIAA, and it now says National Offensive Player of the Week. I think Terrill Davis is going to make a strong case for that, and that's without seeing what he's competing against.
And by the way, so will Jett Huff, who's now got 5 touchdown passes in the first half. Quevedo on for the extra point. The kick is up and good. 1:50 to go in the first half, and the Broncos strike again. 35-10 UCO with the lead. This is UCO Bronco football. Welcome back in. Todd Lisenby, John Fitzgerald. Broncos lead 35-10 as Quevedo will kick it away. High, short kick, fair catch called for and made at the 16-yard line by Fort Hays State, so they'll start at the 25. The numbers are just staggering. That last drive, 7 plays, 88 yards. The touchdown, 26 yards from Jett Huff to Terrill Davis. Jett Huff on the game, 19 of 23 for 330 yards and 5 touchdowns. Terrill Davis, 8 catches for 209 and 4 touchdowns. The Broncos offensively have already racked up 423 yards of offense, and we are still with 1:50 to go in the second quarter. Heavner in at quarterback for Fort Hays State with Shane Watts to his left. Now Trevor Watts goes in a short motion. Heavner looking to throw. Drops it off to Shane Watts in the flat. Shane Watts spins away from a tackler in the backfield. Gets a nice gain out across the 30, considering he was hit at the 24 initially. Jack Puckett flings him down. It's a gain of 6.
Yeah, Connor Johnson came in and had the best chance to get him initially, but ball carrier spins out of his grasp, and Puckett cleans it up, but not, like you said, not until after a few more yards.
Heavner throwing on 2nd and 3. Short pass caught by Cormaney. Only gains 2 yards. That was a 2nd and 4 play, so we'll call that a 2-yard gain and make it 3rd and 2 at the 28, or excuse me, at the 33. 3rd down and 2 for Fort Hays State. Heavner looking, left side, pass caught by Trevor Watts and out of bounds with the first down catch of 6 yards up to the 39. The Broncos are putting up these numbers, John, against a good Fort Hays State team. This is not a cupcake team on the Broncos schedule.
No, they are not. And like you said, the Fort Hays State has moved the ball a little bit too, but the Broncos have just kept them out of the end zone for the most part tonight.
Heavner looking to throw on first down. Has time. 3-man rush. Now steps up. Throws across his body. Complete to Shane Watts, who's spun down in Bronco territory at the 47 for 14 yards and a first down. The clock will stop while the chains move with 1:08 to go. And UCO is going to use a timeout here. Broncos were caught in the middle of a sub and didn't want to get an illegal substitution, so we'll take the timeout with them. 1:04 to go, 35-10. They stopped the clock because the Bronco player was running off with it like he thought maybe it was a fumble. And they'll restart the clock. Actually would have helped the Broncos to keep the clock moving there. They'll restart it now with 50 seconds to go first half. 2nd down and 11 for Heavner. Has time, looking to throw over the middle. Pass caught, first down. Oh, the ball was nearly dropped by Horace, who caught it and then nearly dropped it on his own. He bobbled it, kept control of it, got to the Bronco 31, gain of 16.
Yeah, you could hear the gasp of the crowd, but Fort Hays State fortunate to hang on to that football.
17 officially on the gain as three-man rush now as a big hold in the backfield as Huebner floats one up and out of bounds as Zachary Stillwell that time with an incredible pass rush just got tackled to the ground right in front of our referee, Dwight Niebling.
Yeah, that one would have been hard to ignore.
Holding number 71, offense, 10-yard penalty, touchdown.
And that came from, like I said, the pass rush of Stillwell, who did a really good job getting upfield that time. It'll move it back to the 41-yard line where it'll be a first down and 20 for Fort Hays State. 26 ticks left on the first half clock. UCO up 35-10. Huebner with Shane Watts to his right, has a tight end, two receivers left and one receiver right. Huebner, play action, rolling left, pressured, throws, deep downfield, floats it, and it's caught. Inside the 15, a great throw on the run and a really good catch by Jaden Horace down to the 12-yard line. Clock will stop with 17 seconds left as Fort Hays State will look to clock it here with just one timeout left. They'll take the snap, they'll clock it with 15 on the clock. And so Fort Hays State will keep that timeout in their pocket there, John, maybe to set up a field goal if they do get tackled in the field of play.
Yeah, you've got to, I mean, you're probably looking at making a few throws into the end zone here and then kicking a field goal from where you're at. Maybe you throw one or two into the end zone and then try to run it once and get that timeout, like you said, to kick the field goal. But Fort Hays State definitely going to take some shots here.
Remember, Broncos get the ball to start the second half as well as they deferred on the coin toss. Huebner dropping, looking to throw. Pressured, all day to throw. Left side, floats one out of the end zone and incomplete. Everyone covered, and he just threw it over the head of a receiver. So there's no intentional grounding, but it will be a third down. Most importantly, 9 seconds left on the clock here. Fort Hays State does still have one timeout, so time for one more heave into the end zone here for the Tigers.
And I do want to say we've got tons of emails coming in. We love it. We want to communicate with all of you out there that are watching and listening. We're going to give the shout-outs. We're going to read those, but we're going to have to get to a lot of them in the second half, so stay patient. We appreciate you reaching out to us.
Third down and 10 from the Bronco 12-yard line. Huebner, three-man rush, pressured, steps to his right, on the run, throwing, again out of the end zone, incomplete with 2 seconds left on the clock, and Fort Hays State will have to settle for a field goal as Carson Arndt will come on to try about a 29-yarder here.
Boy, and that one was dangerously close to running out the clock. If he hadn't thrown that thing away, Huebner was running around for quite some time back there. I'm sure he didn't have any trouble seeing the clock as he's facing the Jumbotron scoreboard, but they were pretty close to running that half out.
Arndt will kick this one from the left hash. It'll be a 29-yarder. Snap and hold are good. The kick is blocked, and the Broncos pick it up, and are going to try to run it back here. Willie Rice had it, and he's pulled down.
He ran into his own guy. He would have scored. Willie Rice would have probably scored right there, but he ran into his own guy, and that's what allowed Fort Hays State to catch up with him.
It was Connor Johnson that got through and blocked it, and the Broncos in the first half on a high with a blocked field goal and lead it 35-10 at the break. Well, the story of the first half, 5 touchdown passes for Jett Huff, 4 of them to Terrill Davis. The Broncos have punted 1 time and scored on their other 5 possessions. Caleb Huebner has come in at quarterback. He's 9 for 15 for a touchdown and 163 yards. And Jaden Horace is their leading receiver, with 3 catches and 77 yards for the Tigers. Fort Hays State will kick off as we start this second half. Going from right to left. Broncos have C.J. Williams and Kobe Stevens deep to receive, standing at the goal line. Haven't had much success with the reverse, and they're just going to call for a fair catch here at the 11, and it'll move it out to the 25. So I think having seen that Fort Hays State defended it well the first couple times, UCO will just take their field position at the 25.
And that's pretty good field position for the Broncos tonight. They've started pretty deep in their own territory on many of these drives that have ended in touchdowns for UCO. So they must they're going to feel really comfortable here at the 25-yard line starting to drive.
In fact, Broncos 5 touchdown drives tonight, 89, 80, 93, 93, and 88. This would actually be their shortest touchdown drive.
This is the best field position of the night for UCO.
First down and 10 from the 25. Huff claps his hands, pitches it to Cottrell right side, looking to stretch out the defense, and a good job defensively that time on the edge for Fort Hays State. That was Sam Brandt who made the play for a loss all the way back to the 21. It'll be 2nd and 14.
Want to remind you here in the second half, you can email us, ucoradio@gmail.com. We've got lots to get to, and we will as time allows.
Huff will hand to Cottrell again, running right, turns it up, breaks a tackle, he's free, 35-40. He's going to go down the sideline. Jalen Cottrell to the 20, the 15, 10, 5, touchdown. 79 yards for Jalen Cottrell, and the Broncos strike on another big play. Cottrell's over 100 yards on the night now, and it's 41-10 UCO.
I mean, it was a short drive, though, right, for the Broncos. Only 75 yards on the drive there.
I don't care how optimistic of a UCO fan you are. I don't think anybody saw this coming tonight.
No, and I'm obviously being tongue-in-cheek with all the long touchdown drives the Broncos have had tonight. Just a fantastic run. Nicely set up by the offensive line, and the block in there on the right side.
Noah Dobson
came out there leading the charge, and Cottrell gets loose.
And Queveto's extra point for the 5th time tonight is up and good. Or excuse me, for the 6th time tonight is up and good. Just 34 seconds into this second half, 14:26 to go in the third. It's now 42-10, UCO with the lead. This is UCO Broncos football. Quevedo with the short kick taken by the up back, who takes it out to the 29-yard line before he's tackled. As in on the tackle for UCO that time was Reese Roller on special teams. On the return, it was Ty Cooper for Fort Hays State. And the Tigers will have it 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. From the left hash, Heavner in at quarterback, Shane Watts at running back. Heavner hands to Watts, bouncing around, has a nice seam, and it closes up quickly at the 34-yard line. He does run for about 5, but good tackle that time, as darting in to make the play was David Williams.
Brought down by number 30, Jack Hawkins.
Second down and 5 from the 30, or excuse me, 2nd and 4 from the 34-yard line. Handoff again to Shane Watts, and he's got a first down out to the 40-yard line. A nice 6-yard run. So back-to-back 6-yard runs, and Fort Hays State moves the chains.
First down, Tigers.
David Williams again in on the tackle for the Broncos, but not before, like you said, the Fort Hays State Tigers get past the down marker and give themselves a fresh set of downs.
From the 40-yard line. Heavner looking to throw, steps up, going to run with it to the 40, to the 45. He's got the first down at midfield and leans into Bronco territory at the UCO 49.
Ball carried by the quarterback, Caleb Hebner.
I want to say out of Chuck Belshner, who says he's watching on the MIAA app in Waxahachie, Texas. Has a nephew, Braden Smith, that plays for UCO. Says, let's go Chos. Signs it Uncle Chuck and Aunt Steph. Thanks for listening, and thanks for emailing us, ucoradio@gmail.com.
First down and 10 at the 49-yard line in Bronco territory. Heavner with split backs. Fakes the handoff, rolling to his left, pressured. Now going to try to run with it. He has room to the 45-40, and he makes something out of nothing there and runs out of bounds for 11 yards and another first down.
Yeah, Heavner just was in a little bit of trouble, found his way out of it, and got to the left side of the UCO sideline, and had plenty of room to run to get the first down.
First and 10 at the 38-yard line in Bronco territory. Heavner with Shane Watts to his left. Hands off. Watts looking to bounce outside. Has a chance to make a big play here, and he's ripped down. Broncos maybe fortunate there wasn't a horse collar there as Connor Johnson got him. It's going to be a gain of 2.
Connor Johnson.
And the Fort Hays State coaches are very upset that there wasn't a horse collar tackle there.
Grabbing the back of the jersey, like around the number, is that considered a horse collar?
I think technically it is, yeah.
That wasn't in the original iteration of the rule, but I think it might be now, like you said.
Although I think it is in NFL. I'm not 100% sure it is in college. 2nd down and 8 from the Bronco 36. Heavner, low snap. 4-man rush. He's pressured. He rolls right. He's tripped up. He stays on his feet and runs out of bounds for a gain of about 1. Good pressure put on that time by Lamb Gordon for UCO. He'll run it from the 36 down to the 35, and that'll set up a 3rd down and 7.
Bronco fans.
And a big 3rd down. I mean, the Broncos are up 42-10, which is obviously a comfortable lead. But if you can stop Fort Hays and get them off the field here, do they take their foot off the gas?
From the 35 in Bronco territory, Heavner, blitz coming. He's hit. He gets away. He steps up, throws one, and it is caught, but it's going to be short of the 1st down as the receiver caught that one running back towards the line of scrimmage, and he actually is going to gain 0 yards to the 35.
He must not have had possession of it until he got to that sideline because he caught it maybe 4 yards downfield, or it looked like he did, but his momentum carried him back, and the referee was right there on top of the official. He must not have had possession of it until he got there where they spotted it.
That was Cade Evans. That's Allen and Lewis, and 2 receivers to his right, Horace and Trevor Watts. Shane Watts is the lone back to the left of Heavner in the backfield. Out of the gun, blitz comes, throws, passes incomplete. J.K. Moore all over Horace in coverage that time. Knocks it down, and the Broncos get a turnover on downs at their own 35.
Yeah, Moore had a chance to pick that one off. He jumped in front of the route and dove forward, knocked that ball out of the sky, and the Broncos hold on 4th down. So just nothing going Fort Hays State way tonight, and a lot of that has to do with the UCO defense and this high-powered UCO offense, which now is going to have their best start for field position of an offensive drive tonight. If they're able to score on this drive, it will only be 65 yards.
By the way, in their 3 wins this year, Fort Hays State gave up 23 points total. So this has been a good defense this season. Broncos have 42 already. We're early 3rd quarter as Huff rolls right, throws, complete to Delso. Across the 45 out to the 49-yard line for a gain of 14.
And UCO not slowing down with their tempo as they hustle to the line of scrimmage here on 1st down.
From the right hash now, 2 receivers stacked one behind the other on either side. Huff hands to William Mason right up at the middle, hitting the backfield, carries a tackler across midfield to the Fort Hays side of the 50-yard line. From the 49 to the 49, a 2-yard gain.
I want to say hi to Janet and Jim Nedler, who emailed us from Barryton, Kansas. They've got a grandson, Alden Nedler, who plays for Fort Hays State. They emailed us here in the booth, ucoradio@gmail.com.
Huff out of the shotgun. Looking to throw. Right side, comeback route. Delso has it at the 40. Stiff arms a man to the ground. Gets inside the 35 down to the 34-yard line. 15 more yards for Jacob Delso.
Yeah, that was a violent stiff arm on the Fort Hays State defender. Kind of planted him in the turf here at Chad Richardson Stadium, and you heard the crowd react.
Handoff, Mason, right side, bouncing it outside, runs into a tackler in a big collision right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Big hit made by Michael Chavez that time for Fort Hays State. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, you hear the ooh because big head-to-head collision there, but no malicious intent or anything like that, right? Just a running back putting his head down trying to run and a defender putting his head down trying to make a stop. And like a couple of rams on the side of the mountain ran right into each other.
Braden Turner, the tight end right side. 3 receivers left for Huff on this 2nd and 10. Looking left, now back right. Rolling left is Huff. Huff trying to make something happen. Throws on the run. Pass is caught. In the air to make the grab is guess who? Terrill Davis at the 26-yard line. 8 yards on the catch will set up a 3rd and 2.
Terrill Davis.
You didn't give him time to guess, Todd.
I think that was rhetorical,
Yeah,
John.
you gave it away, though.
It's 3rd down and 2 from the left hash, 3 receivers right side now. It's a handoff to Cottrell, cutting back to his right. Has the first down as he drags a tackler to the 24-yard line. He's pulled back, but he got right to the sticks. Gained 2 on the play, and it'll be a 1st and 10.
Miles Minges from Fort Hays State got a hold of the back of Cottrell's jersey in the backfield and then just hung on for dear life as Cottrell tried to chop those legs and pull the defensive lineman down the field with him. He was unable to.
Looked like one of those guys pulling a parachute.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
just running in place. Yeah. 3 receivers, stacked one on top of the other left side as Huff looks that way, pumps, now he's going to run with it. 25-20, has room, and jets out of bounds at the 17-yard line for a gain of 7.
That's the first time we've seen him run with it tonight, isn't it? Out of the backfield.
He likes to scramble to set up the pass.
Right,
but that time it was so wide open, I think he had to take what they gave him.
Well, and you just look downfield, and sometimes you just don't have anyone to throw it to, and a smart player, will get what they can get and get out of bounds or get down, and that's exactly what Huff did there.
2nd down and 3, Broncos at the Fort Hays State 17. 7:18 to go, 3rd quarter. UCO up 42-10. Huff has William Mason in the backfield to his right. Huff claps, takes the snap, hands to Mason. Mason darts left side inside the 15 to the 14. 1st down on the 3-yard run for William Mason.
Monica Bradbury checking in from Gilmer, Texas, a relative of Braden Waters. Braden Waters getting a lot of emails tonight. He's got a big fan club out there, and we're glad that the whole Braden Waters extended family has reached out to us tonight. Monica, thank you for emailing us here in the booth. UCOradio@gmail.com.
1st and 10 at the 14-yard line in Fort Hays State territory for UCO. Mason moves from right to left in the backfield next to Huff. Gets a handoff running right. Mason cuts up at the 15 and gets down to about the 12. They'll give him the 11. Excuse me, that's Dev Williams in the game. Nope, correction. Is that Williams or Mason? Their numbers are so close. That was Mason.
Yeah. Just PA
Dev Matthews is the other. Yeah.
Didn't get it there, but
William Mason with the run.
Yeah, Dev Matthews is number 20.
Yeah.
Will Mason 22, and William has been getting a lot of carries tonight for the Broncos, and he remains on the field after that carry.
2nd down and 7 from the 11. Handoff to Mason again, running right at the 10, breaks the tackle, stiff arms to the 5 and into the end zone. William Mason from 11 yards out, and the Broncos are toying with the Tigers now. It's 48-10 UCO.
Yeah, I mean, you stop them on 4th down on their last offensive possession, and then you take over at your own 35-yard line. This is a 65-yard drive, which, again, that's the shortest touchdown drive of the night for the Broncos. They keep getting shorter because Fort Hays State keeps penetrating less into UCO territory, but this is going to be a tough game for Fort Hays State to continue to fight in.
Extra point for Nicky Quevedo is on the way, and for the 7th time tonight, it is good. 5:50, 3rd quarter, 49-10, UCO with the lead.
Penalty markers on the field.
False start, number 71, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Have you noticed the left tackle, Kofi Carey? Have you noticed his pants and how they are way above his knees?
I have noticed that, yes.
It looks like a girdle, and he's super tall, so it accentuates that even more. It used to be a point of emphasis among the officials. I think they've just given up on that one.
1st and 15 from the 33 now. Allen goes in motion again. They hand it to the running back, Shane Watts, and Watts gets hit by Kobe Stevens at the 32. He gains out to the 34 for a gain of 1.
Say hi to Joe Johnson, who emailed us here in the booth, watching his son Connor Johnson from Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. So, Joe, so far you win the prize for furthest email of the night, ucoradio@gmail.com.
1 yard gain, 2nd down and 14 from the 34. Heavner in the gun has Joshua Clark to his left. Now Clark goes in motion out of the backfield. Broncos blitz, throw over the middle. Good pass and catch. Caught by Lewis. Lewis breaks a tackle at the 40 and gets out to about the 43.
Heavner's pass complete to Lewis.
Jabari Lewis, who had the big touchdown grab early on Fort Hays State's only touchdown, makes that catch for a nice gain. He got back 9 of the 14 on that 2nd and 14, so now it's a 3rd and 5. From the 43, needing to get up to the 48-yard line. It's Fort Hays State here. Heavner with Joshua Clark to his left. Allen goes in motion from left to right. 3 receivers that side. Broncos blitz again. Heavner hit. He's sacked back inside the 30-yard line. Kobe Stevens came on the blitz and got him from his safety position. They'll mark him down at the 31, a big loss, and Fort Hays State will punt it away.
Yeah, and I don't know how they record the stats on that, if they'll give it to Kobe. Lamb Gordon is the one that kind of took the quarterback down. Kobe was the one that jumped him, though, and made the quarterback kind of ball up and basically waved the white flag on that play. But Kobe slipped off of him. Lamb Gordon brings him down, so maybe half a sack for each of them. Either way, UCO forces a punt here from Fort Hays State.
Janke will punt it away. Parker Janke's kick is a sidewinding kick. Takes a big Fort Hays State bounce from the 30 all the way down inside the 15 to the Bronco 11-yard line. It's a 48-yard kick with no return. And we have a timeout on the field. We'll take it with them. 3:35 to go third quarter. 49-10. Broncos on top. This is UCO Broncos.
Man of the game. The next man of the game is Caleb Serrano. Looking good, Caleb. Ball carries number 20, Dev Matthews. Gain of 1. 2nd down, 9 yards to go. Austin Hurdle's pass is complete to number 9, Madison Ridgeway. Third down, Broncos.
Not a vicious enough hit for a flag to come in, and that'll make it fourth down, and the Broncos will punt it away. They do get one first down there as Grayson Miller will come on. Broncos had a big road win last week against Nebraska Kearney. One of the bigger plays in that game was Grayson Miller's 63-yard punt into about a 40-mile-an-hour wind. One of the better punts you'll ever see.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's one of the best punts I've ever seen, Todd. And this will be the first punt of the night for this UCO offense.
Miller from the 15. High spiraling kick. Fair catch called for. It goes over the receiver's head, and it's down at the 17. Mark it actually at the 18-yard line.
17-yard line.
That's a good punt, though. 54 yards with no return.
Jason Crowder listening in Odessa, Texas. He's got a nephew, Dawson Reynolds, that plays for Fort Hays State. So, Jason, we're glad we could bring you the action out in West Texas. We're glad you emailed us here, ucoradio@gmail.com.
18-yard line for Fort Hays State is where they'll take over. Right hash, Heavner in at quarterback. Shane Watts, the running back. Heavner, play action. Has time, throws it to Watts in the flat, and he falls forward across the 20 to the 24 for a gain of 6. Broncos with some second-team defensive players out there as well on this possession.
And they just announced for the fans to stay tuned tonight. There's a fireworks show here at Chad Richardson Stadium after the game.
I think we have one in the first half, John.
This will be a different kind of fireworks show, but very exciting also.
Broncos blitz as Heavner pressured, rolls left, looking to run with it, has the first down to the 30, 35, and out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Good job by Caleb Heavner to recognize the blitz, get a nice gain and a first down, and that's how the third quarter ends. 3 quarters in the books. Broncos up big, 40. Antarctica, they call it, down in Houston tonight.
ucoradio@gmail.com.
First play of the fourth quarter is Heavner off play action, looking to throw in the flats to Shane Watts, right side. Watts across the 40 out to the Bronco 40, or excuse me, to the Fort Hays 44-yard line. 6-yard gain on that first down play. Beck's not going to be able to make the trip next week to Joplin. She's got a planned thing going on, so she's really bummed about missing Joplin next week.
Yeah, she'll probably be okay.
Second down and 4 from the 44. Heavner looking to throw again. Stepping up over the middle for Watts again, who gets hit hard right at the sticks. He stayed on his feet, though. They didn't mark him down, and he gets all the way down inside the Bronco, 45 to the 44.
Is that not a forward progress stop when you knock someone back like that?
Going to see on the replay. Didn't look like he got hit hard, but I guess he stayed up. Yeah, he sure did. Put his hand down on the turf and stayed up. Got a nice gain to the Bronco 44 and a first down. Heavner again throwing right side, going deep. Incomplete, intended for Horace. Broncos got away with a hold there, as that was a Quase on the coverage, who I'm pretty sure grabbed Horace by the jersey.
Tom Heidelk reached out to us here tonight, too, listening in Hastings, Nebraska. Said, as the dog and I go for a Saturday night ride. This email was in the first half, though, so, Tom, don't know if you're still out for a ride or if you're back settled in, but we're glad you reached out to us, ucoradio@gmail.com.
By the way, that was Connor Ashley in coverage for UCO that time. 2nd and 10. Heavner clapping the hands, taking the snap, and handing to Watts, who runs left and runs into a tackler at the 41, carries the pile down to the 40-yard line. Zion Bell in on the tackle for UCO. They'll give him the 39 on forward progress, so a 5-yard run sets up 3rd and 5. 13:31 to go in the ball game. UCO looking to improve to 4-0, and they are headed that way, up 49-10 over Fort Hays State. Blitz coming from UCO. Handoff to Watts up the middle. Caught the Broncos in the blitz and found a seam for a 6-yard gain down to the UCO 33.
Paul Brown said, I think UCO is covering the spread tonight. What do y'all think? I don't know what the spread was, but yeah, most definitely. And he says maybe top 20 in the poll next week. I mean, it's onward and upward if you keep winning games like this in the MIAA. So the sky's the limit for the Broncos, Paul. Thanks for emailing us here, ucoradio@gmail.com.
First down and 10 at the Bronco 33 for Fort Hays State. 12:42 to go in the game. Heavner with UCO showing blitz. They do blitz. Throws over the middle. Pass caught. That's the tight end Cormaney who makes the grab at the 28-yard line, and he's immediately driven backwards. He does gain 5 yards on the grab.
Also, Kyle Vanderberg emailed us here. Says, want to say hi to my daughter, Shay Vanderberg, and the UCO cheer team. And Kyle, thanks for doing that. We love the UCO cheer team, the UCO Palm Squad. They do so much here for the fans and put so much work into, and their game day performances have been just as good as the football teams.
Second down and 5 at the 28. Heavner gets rid of it. Pass caught inside the 20 by Lewis, who shakes off a tackle at the 23. He gave up ground because he caught it at the 18 after he broke away from the tackle. He got going again at the 22, so he lost 4 yards in the tackle there, but he did still get enough for the first down. 6-yard gain on the play.
First and 10 Tigers.
Even the second-team Broncos defense is making Fort Hays have to move the ball down the field on them, keeping everything in front of them here. First and 10 at the UCO 22. Heavner dropping, throwing right. Pass caught by Allen to the 16-yard line. Ball comes loose, and the officials called that one dead and probably shouldn't have. Connor Ashley ripped it away at the 16. He wasn't down yet, but the forward progress had been whistled.
Well, and I don't know, Todd, in the MIAA with replay, if you go recover that, can you challenge it like the NFL, or once they blow the whistle, is it just a done deal?
I think once they blow the whistle, it's a done deal.
That's what I think, too.
Second down and 4 from the 16. Heavner looking to throw again in the flat, gets it to Shane Watts. Watts at the 15 to the 10, at the 5, lowers his head, reaches inside the pylon, and no signal yet.
Said he stepped out.
I'm going to say he's out at the 2. The official with about the most nonchalant signal you'll ever see over there.
Well, I think
usually they're really excited to mark it short.
The one at the goal line, I think, was going to give him the touchdown, but then the official on the sideline came in. I think he saw him step out, and so he was the official on the goal line was waiting for that official to confirm, and he marked him at the 2. So first and goal at the 2 for Fort Hays State.
2-yard line, left hash, first and goal with Heavner in the gun. Shane Watts to his left. Watts gets the handoff, runs left, hits a wall at the 1, and is driven back there again. It's Zion Bell in on the tackle.
Desmond Williams emails us, says, shout out to Mikkel Williams, Fort Hays State, and Jett Huff, UCO, both College Station natives and old high school rivals, representing College Station well. Desmond, thanks for the email, and thanks for recognizing those 2 players.
Second down and 1, or goal from the 1. Handoff to Watts again. This time Watts hits contact at the goal line and carries the tackler in for the touchdown. So Shane Watts runs for the touchdown. And Fort Hays State cuts into this lead with 9:52 to go in the game. It's now 49-16 Broncos. Do you know how College Station, Texas got its name, John?
I assume it has something to do with Texas A&M.
Well, literally, there was a train that went through there, and the train conductor would say, next stop, the College Station. And so it just kind of stuck, and it became College Station, Texas.
My son had a track meet at Texas A&M this summer. I got to tell you, it's the first time I've been there. I wasn't really blown away by their campus.
Extra point on the way and good. We're talking about College Station, Texas, not UCO or Fort Hays State. We want to make that very clear.
I didn't think that.
Richardson Stadium, 9:52 to go. Fort Hays State gets a touchdown on the board to cut into this big UCO Bronco lead. 49-17 the score now as Janke will kick it away. Kobe Stevens will let it go over his head into the end zone for a touchback, and the Broncos will take it at the 25. Todd Lisenby, John Fitzgerald, Jackson Allen back in the KOKC studios. UCOradio@gmail.com is how you can get in touch with us here tonight in the booth.
And everyone is. The family of Jett Huff watching on the MIAA network. Grandma and Grandpa Huff, aunt and uncle loving the game from Tipton, Missouri. they say go Broncos, and they'll be at the game next Saturday in Joplin, Missouri. So we look forward to seeing Jett Huff's family in Joplin, and I know they look forward to seeing Jett put up some numbers next week against the Missouri Southern Lions.
Dawson Hurl in the shotgun on first down. Handing off as, I believe this is, trying to see if that's Mason or Matthews out there. It is William. Nope, it's not either one of them. That is first carry of the game for Quincy Thompson, who's gotten a few carries early in the season. He gets a yard out to the 26.
Nikki Cooper says we're watching our soon-to-be son-in-law, Marcus Soul, play hard. We are so proud, from Rockwall, Texas. So soon-to-be son-in-law, that's exciting. Congrats.
I don't think we've probably talked enough about how good the defensive line has been tonight for UCO as well.
Outstanding. And all season.
No doubt. 2nd and 9 from the 26 for UCO. Hurl, play action, right side, pass through the hands of Delso and incomplete. Couldn't make the grab, and it'll be a 3rd down and 9 for the Broncos at the 26 with 9:06 to play.
JR, Cheryl, and Natalie watching from Yukon, Oklahoma. And I mentioned Fred from Bolivia earlier. That's Fred's staff. He was a defensive tackle on the 62 UCO National Championship team. And Fred's still a big Broncos fan, and we're glad he reached out to us indeed.
Hurl throwing on 3rd and 9 over the middle. Pass caught. First down out near the 40-yard line. Catch made by Delso for 13 yards and a first down.
Fred says that it's about 5,000 miles from Edmond to Bolivia. But fortunately for Fred, the internet knows no bounds, and we're able to bring him the action, and he said he's going to be listening the rest of the season.
You might only be the only one that gets this joke, but that would mean the Proclaimers would have to do it 10 times, right?
Oh, yep, they would.
There's a handoff to Thompson running to the right. And he gains from the 40 up to the 43. 3-yard run on first down for Quincy Thompson, the junior out of Humboldt, Texas. We'll set up a 2nd down and 7. Clock rolling with 8:15 to play. The Broncos have had backups in the game since late 3rd quarter, as UCO has already put their best offensive toys on the shelf for the night. Those include Jett Huff, who threw for 5 first-half touchdowns. Hurl throws right side, pass complete, but blown up out in the flats that time. It was complete to Jacob Delso, who's going to lose back to the 41-yard line. So 2-yard loss, it'll be 3rd and 9.
Chilton and Paula Owens are watching. They're supporting Fort Hays State's Dawson Reynolds. They say, let's go Tigers. They're watching from Odessa, Texas. So, again, thank you guys for emailing us here in the booth. We're glad we could bring you the game tonight.
3rd down and 9, UCO from their own 41. Need to get it out to midfield. Hurl in the gun. Claps his hands, takes the snap, 4-man rush, rolling right, throwing deep down the right side, and it's just overthrown. Delso had a step, but Hurl put a little too much air on it, and UCO will punt it away.
And I love it. It's 49-17. It was 49-10 when we started seeing some personnel changes. But I love it that Coach Doro and staff are letting Hurl throw the ball down the field here at this point in the game. You've got to have a quarterback, a backup quarterback ready to go, right? In different situations. So good for him to be able to get out there against an MIAA team and get some good reps in and by all means, throw that ball down the field.
Grayson Miller to punt it away. Peyton Hunt will snap it back to him. Miller's punt, angling towards the Fort Hays State sideline, hits at the 20, bounces at the 10, down inside the 5 to the 1-yard line. It's pretty well done.
So that was good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Well done by Grayson Miller.
And good job by the coverage team letting that thing continue to bounce and getting it before it rolled into the end zone.
How about 58 yards, no return? You'll take that.
It's going to help the average. Fort Hays State, not ideal field position for the Tigers, but really not a lot has gone the Tigers' way tonight. They're going to have a long drive back to Hays, Kansas tonight, and they're a good team. I mean, they've had some good results this year. I think they're going to rebound from this and have a good season, but just has not been their night tonight.
First down and 10 from the 2-yard line is where they will call this officially. Handoff up the middle, out to about the 5. Give it the 6-yard line. That was Clark on the carry. By the way, for Fort Hays State, probably not what you want to hear if you're a Tigers fan. You give up 5 passing touchdowns in the first half tonight. Next week, they host Central Mo, and the defending Harlan Hill winner, Zach Zabrowski, who we know can throw it all over the field.
Yeah, I mean, that's the team that scored 40 points on the Broncos a couple weeks ago.
Handoff to Clark on 2nd down. Out across the 10 to the 13-yard line. He's got a first down.
Kristen and Bill Bloomquist checking in. They were at the stadium, but they left at halftime. But they're listening in and had some kind words for the broadcast crew, so we appreciate that. UCOradio@gmail.com.
By the way, we've talked about this before. Hays, Kansas, they love a roundabout, don't they?
They do love a roundabout.
That's a roundabout
If you don't know how
city.
to function in a roundabout, stay out of Hays, Kansas.
First down and 10 at the 13. Handoff, running back going left side this time, out across the 15 to the 16-yard line. That's Joshua Clark on the carry again for 3.
We mentioned that there's going to be a fireworks show here in the stadium after the game. Todd, you recall in 2021, we went to Hays, Kansas, and we upset the Tigers, and they had a fireworks show planned. And so it ended up being a celebration for the Broncos, unfortunately for the Tiger fans.
There's a throw on 2nd down and a big hit delivered by a UCO player there as it was caught by a Fort Hays State player who does not show up on our roster. So I'd love to tell you who that was, but the hit comes in from Jalen Sessions for UCO. It is enough for a first down at the 23. Here's another pass for Huebner, rolling to his right. He's just going to run it and run out of bounds for no gain. Might have got a yard. Chased out of bounds, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
Jared Schilling emails us here from here in Edmond, and Karen Brown reaches out from Axtell, Kansas, with a shout out to UCO's Cody Brown. We're glad that that Karen and Jared both reached out to us. We're getting caught up, Todd, on the emails, but we love nights like tonight where we hear from everybody out there.
4.5 minutes to go. Handoff to Joshua Clark right up the middle near the 30-yard line. He'll have the 30, so he gains from the 24 up to the 30. 6-yard gain will set up a 3rd down and short. 4:20 to go in the game. Clock ticking. Broncos up big, 49-17.
And Shaylee Odom reaches out, says roll Cho. Shaylee was a UCO softball player. And she emails us here in the booth at UCOradio@gmail.com.
Bronco player slow to get up. While they look at him, let's run 36-35. Broncos showing blitz, bring everybody on 3rd and short. Pass to the sticks. First down for Fort Hays State. Out across the 35 to the 36-yard line.
You mentioned the Emporia State loss. Also, TBD on, maybe a bigger loss. Their quarterback, Gunnar Gundy, son of Oklahoma State head coach Mike Gundy, he's had a great season this year. Had 74 pass attempts last week for Emporia State, but this week he gets hurt.
Huebner to throw on 1st down. Over the middle, pass caught at midfield into Bronco territory and down to the 46-yard line. That's John Johnson who made the grab. Down to the Bronco 45.
David and Julie Chapman also checking in. David's a UCO professor and had to miss this game. They're in Midland, Texas. They emailed us here in the booth.
Huebner, lots of time over the middle, complete to the running back Clark to the 35, to the 30-yard line. Coming up on the 3-minute mark. It's a 15-yard gain on the play. Broncos' next game at home against the Northwest Missouri State team we had mentioned on October the 12th. UCO with 3 home games remaining, the 12th, the 26th, and then November the 16th, and they are 3 really good teams coming to Edmond. Northwest Missouri State, Pitt State, and then Emporia State. Huebner over the middle, pass deflected. Great coverage that time for UCO. That was Daniel Equeze in on the coverage, and it'll be a 2nd and 10.
When you mentioned Northwest Missouri State coming to Edmond in 2 weeks, Northwest Missouri struggled out of the gates this year, but a 59-0 win at Missouri Southern last week. and a win over top 15 Emporia State this week, they may be finding their groove a little bit. It's going to be a tough game.
They really turned it around in week 3 when they beat Fort Hays State 32-20, and they've won 3 straight after starting 0-2. Heavner with the blitz coming, throws behind the receiver, incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 10 now for the Tigers at the Bronco 30-yard line.
It's 3rd down.
If you want tickets to any games later this year, you can always go to broncosports.com/tickets and get your tickets there. We would love to see you out here at Chad Richardson Stadium. 3rd and 10, Fort Hays State at the UCO 30. 2:32 to play. Broncos going to win this one up 49-17. Heavner looking to throw, pressured, rolling left, backs up, floats one out of bounds, incomplete. 4th and 10. No need to kick a field goal here. Fort Hays State going to go for it.
4th down.
A pretty good field goal, too. 47 yards, right?
Yeah, their kicker, Carson Arndt, was the MIAA Special Teams Player of the Week last week. I think he was 3 for 3 on field goals, 4 for 4 on extra points. So Fort Hays State always seems to have a really good kicker. Remember, we went there that one year and lost 15-0 on 5 field goals,
That's
I think.
right, I do remember that.
Heavner on 4th down, pressured, going to run with it. He's going to get the 1st down inside the 20. He's inside the 10 to the 5. He cuts back, breaks the tackle, and is into the end zone. Caleb Heavner runs for a touchdown, 30 yards. And so it's now 49-23, UCO with the lead with 2:11 to play.
Yeah, the good thing about this is that the Broncos are getting experience for players that, you know, aren't necessarily starters on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. You know, it's not like a high school game where you got to max out your district points or something like that. You know, style points, do they matter? Yes. This game's going to look a little bit closer on, you know, when you're just glancing at the scoreboard across the country. But if you paid attention to this game, you know that it was never a ball game.
Arndt on for the extra point, and he knocks it through. 2:11 to play, 49-24, Broncos with the lead. This is UCO Bronco football.
With 2:11 left.
Broncos were lined up, thinking Fort Hays State might try an onside kick there, but the Tigers just booted through the end zone. And UCO will have it at the 25-yard line, looking to run the clock out here. They are going to have to take one more timeout because we've got the 2-minute timeout coming up. So UCO will have to either get a 1st down or, well, they will have to get a 1st down if they want to run this clock out with 2:11 to play. I don't think Fort Hays State is going to use their timeouts, but they will get one with the 2-minute timeout. You should be able to opt to just let it run if you're the other team on the 2-minute timeout.
If you're the one that benefits from it.
Hand off to Matthews, running right. Matthews hit at the 26, and he's not going to get any further than that. 1-yard gain for Dev Matthews, and that will take us to our 2-minute timeout. We'll take it with them. 49-24, Broncos with the lead. 2 minutes to go. You're listening to UCO Bronco football.
As a school record for best start, so they'll have their next match will be the opportunity to break that. But the MIAA is it's a good athletic conference all the way around, but a very strong conference in volleyball, and UCO holding up their end of the bargain so far this year.
Broncos just going to take a knee. They are going to have to punt it away because they won't be able to run the entire clock out here. But on 2nd and 9, they'll take a knee to make it 3rd down. I would imagine they'll kick it away, and Fort Hays State will probably also take a knee. I need to check, John, because as of earlier this week, Lenoir-Rhyne was the only other school in the country that was undefeated in volleyball and football. So I need to see how Lenoir-Rhyne volleyball has done in the last week. They're still 13-0, so I think There are still 2 teams with that distinction as UCO will take another knee and punt it away here with about 30 seconds to go.
Would you like me to tie this all together in a nice bow for you, Todd?
I would love that.
Lenore Rhine is the team that our friend Frank from Bolivia played for the national championship in 1962.
How about that? How about that? Love that. Yeah, Lenore Rhine football. They actually play a game tomorrow, which is interesting. Play a Sunday game.
College football game?
Yeah.
Interesting. Wonder if it was because of the hurricane.
That would make sense because it's in Salisbury, North Carolina. Broncos will use a timeout as they let the play clock run to 1. We'll keep it right here as UCO will punt it away and get this victory here tonight. So the Broncos are going to do something they haven't done in 20 years, John. They're going to start 4-0 with this win. Chance to make it 5-0 next week at Missouri Southern.
Bronco fans, a free fireworks show out
And if you were one of those people asking the question, is this for real? I think as every week goes by, you got to think more and more. It seems for real.
Yeah, and I'm going off memory, which is not really what we're maybe supposed to do. Look it up, but I think the Broncos started 6-0 in 2004. Okay, before they lost their first game to Texas A&M Kingsville. So that's how far you go back to go 6-0. And then before that, as the punt hits the ground at about the 33, and that's where it'll be down. We started 8-0 in 1999. So that's probably how far you have to go back to get to 8-0. And 98, of course, we were 12
down at the 30.
So that's the best. That's the most wins in an undefeated season in school history.
So the 2003 team was the last one to make the playoffs.
Down by number 80, Hayden Hunt.
6-0, did not end up making the playoffs.
They lost to Kingsville in week 7, and then they lost to Southeastern Oklahoma State late in the season. And with 2 losses, and remember, UCO or Division II was just a 16-team playoff, I think, still in 2004.
It was a handoff on first down for Fort Hays State. As
number 14.
that's Kean Miller, who keeps it out to the 42-yard line for a 9-yard gain, and that should be and will be the last play of the game. So the Broncos are undefeated. They are alone at undefeated atop the MIAA conference. They win in convincing fashion here tonight in Edmond. The final score, UCO 49, Fort Hays State 24.